Hey, we're getting on the board, bro. Oh. Warming up a little bit, and so am I. I'll warm up more when you put this one in the boat.
Yes, I hear you. We'll warm that net up.
Looks like what we come up here for, Billy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Nice one. Not a giant, but a nice one. Oh, we'll take her. Yeah. We're on the board.
Nice.
That puts us on the board. I spot locked on here. Hey, I'm in one of my favorite places in the whole wide world to fish. Beautiful Lake Vermilion up in northern Minnesota. And I'm fishing with a longtime friend of mine, Billy Rosner, who guides up here, who put the first one in the boat. Not a bad one for a warm-up fish. And I'm going to be up here for a few days. It's the first frontal passage of the year. And we've had about 3 days of 25, 30 mile an hour northwest winds, water temperature dropping like a rock. And usually I come up here and fall to fish with Billy for a couple days, and we fish some walleyes preferably. We might do a little crappie fishing. We talked about that. We've been up here over the years, musky fish smallmouth up here, a great lake for that, big crappies, big bluegills. It's just one of those special lakes. And I think, nice eater. I dumped one a little before that. We're on a bite going, Billy.
Closed captioning is provided by Smooth Moves, adjustable boat seat suspensions for a smoother ride.
I've been guiding up here for 20 plus years on Vermilion. I spend most of my season up here, and I guide multi-species. I start my season out with the walleye, maybe a little crappie. I do a lot of pike fishing, a lot of bass fishing, some musky fishing, and Vermilion's just a great multi-species lake. And as you go through the seasons, the bite kind of changes on all the species. But you know, as far as, you know, the largemouth, smallmouth, like I was saying, all the species, it's just a great all-around lake to fish year-round.
I'm the guide today. How does that feel?
Man, that feels good. That feels pretty good, Hal. Not a monster.
You're not used to just an eater?
Just one of those nice Lake Vermilion walleyes. Oh, well, maybe it's a little better than I thought.
Maybe she grew up a little.
Yeah.
An original jigging wrap is doing its job, man.
Yeah, it's just
another nice eater.
Yep. It's one of those fish everybody comes up here for.
Yeah. I know we'd be poking around. You're going to poke into a bigger one somewhere. But you can almost flip her.
Yeah, I could almost flip her. Yep. Yeah, just one of those nice Vermilion eaters that everybody comes up here for. Good dinner fish. These fish we've been catching just kind of shows, you know, the really nice year class of fish, those really nice keeping size fish everybody likes to eat. Since they put this slot on Vermilion, it's really helped this fishery out. You're allowed 4 fish under 20 inches. Everything between 20 and 26 has to go back. And if you, for some reason, if you'd want to keep one, you could keep one over 26, but those are really big trophy fish, and it's best to release those. And everybody thinks, you know, Vermilion is just a great fishing lake, but you have to understand there's a lot of moving parts that makes this a great fishery. You got fisheries out of Tower, the DNR, they really manage this lake well with their netting and stuff. You got the Lake Vermilion Tourism Association, you got the Lake Vermilion Lake Association. There's many of us guides that work with the fisheries also, and a lot of these private lake owners. So there's a lot of moving parts that really make Vermilion a great fishing lake. Not a bad one. Just another one of them. Nice Vermilion.
Solid eater. She marked good.
This segment is brought to you by Big Bite Baits, designed to bring the big bite to your line.
Not a bad one. Just another
one of them.
Nice vermilion.
Solid. Solid eater. She marked good. I thought we had one of those really good ones
Yeah.
going. That jigging rap's been working really, really good. This lake is a really, really good jigging rap lake. One of the things that I really like, about Vermilion is the different ways that you can catch fish. Like I said, it's a good jigging rap lake, but you can do anything you want. Look at that. Isn't that sweet?
This is what we call a nice guide mess here.
You could a cork fish, you could lindy rig fish, you could troll lead core, you can pull boards, you could jig with plastic, you can jig with jigging wraps. It's one of those unique lakes that are set up with many, many different patterns. Right now, the jigging wrap, bread and butter, we ain't got a big gal yet, but we're gonna get one.
You know, fishing these original jigging wraps, I like using mono, and then that fluorocarbon leader, and you just get that stretch or shock, and that just helps hook more fish, I feel like.
I had a real learning experience with my son Troy earlier this year. We did a television show, and we're fishing deep humps, similar to some of the stuff we're doing today. And we're really pounding them really good. And we got on a deep water bite, and Troy had 8 fish before I could blink. And I'm fishing through them. Now, I was fishing the new Rapala jigging shadow wrap. Bigger bait, different kind of action than the initial Rapala. He had 8 fish behind me. And I'm trying to think, I'm watching the action, I'm watching everything he's doing to match it up, and then I realized he's fishing his with braid and I was with mono. I immediately put braid on, and like the 3rd cast, I caught a fish, and then I commenced to catch him for the rest of the day. The bait fish differs, and we were in anywhere from 22 to, as deep as 32. And it was a real learning experience in that bait, at that time, in that situation. However we were moving that bait, it was different, and it had to be fished with a braided line. I mean, this bait is still in its infancy to try to understand all of the nuances of it. It's got a different kind of action, a different kind of everything. So we're going to have a season of learning, and the more people fishing it, the more input we're going to get. But it definitely has a fit into this style or family of baits.
Well, here's another nice one, Al.
You are on fire, brother.
I'm not sure what we got, but
Not sure on size?
no.
He's been tricking me, so I got to come back and get the net. They're in between.
I don't know. I don't think it's a monster.
Oh yeah, nice one, real nice one. Real nice man. Very nice. Oh, good. There you go. He's got the right jig for the jog right now. I'm trying to play catch up.
Man, I love fishing on Vermilion in the fall. Al and I have been doing this quite a few years, and we always have, catch a lot of really nice walleyes, smallmouths. We get into some crappies once in a while. It just can't beat Vermilion in the fall.
This boat is rigged up about as nice.
Easy to use, and it flat out works.
It's a must-have when you're talking about big waves. Well, these trout are so darn tough.
This bait is legendary.
So that was on a number 8 Shad Wrap.
Your style of boat control is really key.
One was there from the very beginning.
You want to be able to see in the water. The adventure begins.
I've been really having good luck today with this Parrot number 9 jigging wrap. It's, the 9's a little larger, the little bigger one, and as you can see, it's a little breezy out, and Al's running the trolling motor. We're marking fish. He's holding us on the fish with spot a lot, and I'm just driving this thing into the bottom. I'm just pounding it. It's just bouncing off the bottom. And when I come up off the bottom, boom, there's a fish there. So, I mean, it's definitely been a pattern that's been working today.
It's a flipper. I got her. I got her. Oh, she flipped right in the boat. Just the way I like them. Yeah, This is what you fill up, fill the freezers with. I don't know if I want to clean anything tonight. We're gonna eat in a restaurant. There's restaurants all over this area. That's the other thing up here. I don't know how many resorts are on Vermilion, but there's a bunch. And they take care of tourists. I mean, you come up here, and I don't care what kind of fish, what time of year you're coming here. There's good eating places. There's resorts that fit anybody's budget. Yeah, you know, it's just one of those special places that services any fisherman or vacationer looking for someplace special, any of their needs. It's a special lake and a special place. It's got all of the facilities that you can imagine. Yeah, you know, we've been coming, I'm just changing my trap line. A little better?
Nice one. I'll let you net
We
it.
ain't getting him a real big one yet,
No,
which is
not
kind
yet.
of surprising.
I'll let you bet it.
No, that ain't a flipper. That's a little bigger than a flipper. There you go.
That's nice.
Just a very nice one. Very nice one. Look at my different trap lines. I started going in on the break line here. Then I followed around. You can see I'm zigzagging across different areas across this semi-basin in here. And I just get different passes. And we're catching fish, nudging. There's a lot of fish. Wind is pouring into this cut. And these fish are spread all out in here. And I just keep changing different angles.
Another pretty, very pretty fish. That was another beautiful Lake Vermilion walleye. You know, you come up to Vermilion, if it's your first time up here, and the lake, you know, it's almost 40,000 acres. It can be very intimidating. You know, your best deal would be to, you know, hire a guide up here, get a hold of resorts. They have certain guides they might work with. You know, there's a bunch of guides up here. The resort will get in the best direction. Get out here, learn the pattern for whatever season you're up here, what baits are working well, and you know, just get used to the lay of the lake up here, and that'll go a long ways to make your trip more enjoyable.
You know, Lake Vermilion is a Canadian shield lake. That means it's got a lot of rocks in it, lots of them. And some of these spots that we're fishing, when you get out on these humps, and these lakes are loaded with high spot humps, and you get on the top of them, and they're usually pretty darn rocky. So you want to run them with your electronics and find out that transition area where the rocks end and it turns to softer bottom, in a lot of cases sand, like we're on now. And these fish will come in and spread over some of these areas or lay real tight on that transition where those big boulders end, and it turns into a soft bottom or in many cases sand. And those are killer spots up on these lakes. If you don't know where to fish that jig and wrap, you're gonna go, oh my gosh, you better have a whole lot of them if you're fishing them wrong. Oh, I missed one, Billy, I missed one. This is a little deeper run there. And interesting, the best we've been doing today, we're doing a lot of vertical fishing. A lot of times I can cast it away from the boat and you're better off. You can look at your Omega Live and see some fish over here and you cast to them. But today it seems like that staying as vertical as you can and pounding the bottom, just pounding it. You know, and all of a sudden the fish is there. Today it's been a real good vertical day. And sometimes you can pull, sometimes you can, you know, cast, which I like to do in a lot of cases. Just something to think about when you come up on a lake like this.
No, just another keeper, you know, a good eating fish. Oh, I almost flipped him. You need the net, Al.
Yeah, I do.
All right. I'll
Yeah,
be
it's a
there.
good one. It's a good one. It's what it's right on that corner. I said we usually get them.
I'm coming.
It's not a big one, but it ain't a bad one. Nice keeper. Better?
No,
Get her,
slide
get her,
him
get
back
her.
here. Slide him back. Land him.
You got her?
Yep.
Whoa. Just another eater. Yeah, you know, there's a bunch of them down there. You know, if you can get the big one to bite. This has been really kind of crazy. You look, most of the boats here right now, like these guys, they're trolling lead core. And they're working these big, massive flats. and we're fishing structure fish. And we could see them down here. These are spots Billy and I had fished before, good jig and wrap spots, deep spots. But you were catching fish, we're catching fish, we just can't get the monsters. And talking to these guys, you know, they're getting, you know, a couple good fish a day pulling lead core, and we're not geared up for that. So we keep doing what we're doing and hoping to set on one of them big ones.
We are loaded for bear. We got
You know,
pikes.
there's so many different ways to fish for walleye. Dependability and efficiency.
Simple, fast, and easy.
The best rods on the planet. They like to eat when you're throwing the right thing.
You don't have all bluebird flat calm days.
Just a perfect eating size fish. See, that's what I'm talking about, these Daiwa drag.
We got walleye stuff, we got crappie stuff, we got pike stuff.
Most of my walleye fishing is done with an Icon Walleye Series rods from St. Croix. The rod I use a lot of is a 7-1 medium power, moderate fast action. They got other actions as far as a 6.6, there's a 6.8. They have something for any kind of jigging style bait or rigging style bait that you might be interested in fishing that's comfortable to you, but this is one of my favorite. This is a jig and wrap rod made for this style of fishing. My favorite spinning reel for this kind of fishing is the Daiwa Fuego 2500 series, and I spool it up with 8-pound test, advanced suffix mono, and then I got a fluorocarbon leader, 8-pound test suffix. Flipper? Yeah, I can flip it. Yeah, flipper. Another flipper. But there's a few in this area here.
There are, yep.
We've got a few hanging around here, Billy.
Yeah. Like we're talking, Al, you know, it's just interesting. I mean, we've caught loads of these. And those big fish, this, you know, there's a couple on this structure, but they're all out in that open water. You know, there's a bunch of boats long line trolling and lead coring, and everything's just 2 weeks behind. You know, the water temperatures are 60. I mean, you look at the shoreline, the trees aren't really, you know, not even 50% turned yet. So, you know, you come out here in another couple weeks, that water temperature gets down to that low 50s, 50 degrees, this whole game's going to change where those fish starting to relate to more of this shallower structure.
This is one of those time frames where you're just coming into the turnover, where the fish are doing a lot of different things. You got deep water fish, you got some structure fish, you got some night fish. You know, they're really mixing it up. You can catch a lot of fish or a decent amount of fish like we're doing, but the big fish aren't coming easy. Yeah, you know, they're spread out. Some of the lead core trollers are getting some of them. You know, as soon as the turnover settles out, you know, those fish will start coming off of these basins and start coming on structure like we normally have them this time of the year. But oh, God, I missed them. You know, we're getting a lot of fish and some decent fish. But yeah, you know, you like to end the show like this with a big fish. I like to do that, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Most people would be very happy with this in most conditions. I guess maybe we're spoiled, Billy.
Yeah, yeah, you said it, Al.
You know, so many times I've had people send me emails, a letter, ask me at church outreach programs, talk to me at sport shows and stuff that follow the closings on our show. And they often say, I got a hard time understanding the Bible. You know, a lot of it just doesn't make sense to me. Well, welcome to the club. There's a whole lot of it that doesn't make sense in a lot of cases because we're not quite capable of understanding a lot of it. Let me read a scripture to you that really addresses that issue. And I got the Passion Bible here, I got the New King James here, but this one explained it a little clearer. It's the Message Bible. And it was so simple and so clear. This is Solomon, who was considered the wisest, richest man that ever lived. This is in Ecclesiastes 8, verse 16 and 17. When I determined to load up on wisdom and examine everything taking place on earth, I realized that if you keep your eyes open day and night without blinking, you'll never figure out the meaning of what God is doing on this earth. Search as hard as you like, you're not going to make sense of it. No matter how smart you are, you won't get to the bottom of it all. That said so much. It makes it so simple. And what I mean by simple, don't complicate it. And the Word of God is built around your personal faith. He's moved by faith. He says faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Faith-filled prayer is what moves him. Not vain repetitions or that. It's faith-filled prayer. Do you believe what you're saying? Is it coming from your heart, not from your head? When you have faith-filled prayer, God answers it. Don't try to make sense out of it, because you're not going to make sense out of it. And I found this so enlightening for so many people. Just read. You're not going to figure it out. I don't care how smart you are. There's things in God's Word that you're not going to figure out. It's a God deal, not you. God is God, and you and I are human, flawed in so many ways. However, we have access through Him. We have access to His Word to tell us how to live a faith-filled life and make life a whole lot easier in all of the circumstances that we face in this world we live in today. I thought that was a great read, and I just wanted to share it with you. Hopefully it makes your day like it made mine. From all of us here at The Edge, you have a good fishing season. See you on the water.